because I can make many compresses by pulling the layers off, okay? And you don't dilute it. You don't use your Lucas diluted. We have a plan for this. You want to use it pure, okay? I'm going to use a little bit of, make a little, I like to use creme 11 because of the redness that can occur after extracting. And you're also going to use some creme 15. When you extract, you want to extract in zones. And I always recommend that you start on the nose first because that's usually the most difficult. Now, when I extract, the iPads fall off. Okay? So, Masami, I'm going to take your iPads off, but I want you to keep your eyes closed, okay? Because there's a very bright light over your eyes. And I'm going to begin extracting on the nose section. That's my first. You would apply it to a cotton round, make it wet, and then they just apply it as a compress.
Waiting a few minutes.
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, very good for acne. That is the concentrate. So it's undiluted. So what you have in that big brown bottle, that's what this is. Same thing. Same thing. It's just for retail.
So what about the acne skin? Is no need to mix with the water or something?
Not when you're using it as a compress. Okay, you don't need to dilute it on a lesion or a pimple. You just put it on and let it stay on there.
No need to wash off.
No need to wash off. No need to. And do we have one?
Cleansing pore. I'm bigger pore and maybe the dirty pore.
Okay.
So that's a good time to clean up today.
Clean the pore out. Okay, so keep the pores open so that we can get the debris out. And once we can get the debris out of a large pore, then the challenge will be to keep the debris out so that the pore can shrink back to a more normal size. Okay, and I'm going to give you some good tips on how to do that at home. Having facials and having a professional extraction is extremely important for someone who has those concerns. But today would be the best facial if that is your biggest concern. So that's perfect.
Thank you.
Thing. Okay. So we're going to get started. I'm going to get my Lucas prepared. Now, she said she has some large pores and some oiliness in the T-zone, but she believes that she's dry everywhere else. Because I need to do extractions and I have a feeling they're going to be kind of impacted, I don't want to put my emulsion to dry skin. I want to put it more towards a combination skin so that I can address the T-zone. So I'm going to put in my emulsion up to the number 1 line. I need to send you guys some more of these tapes. Would you agree? And then I'm going to add the water to the number 6 line. So that's how much every single person should get. Your tape is a little wonky, so when I put 6 in, you're going to see the difference between what was in there and what it would preferably be. Do you see the difference in color? That was too diluted. The one that was in there initially was too diluted. This is exactly what a 6 volume would look like. See the difference? So the other one was too diluted. Okay, perfect. So now we're good on that. So now I've got my emulsion all set, ready to go. I've already primed up my Lucas. And I'm going to begin with the opening ritual. I'm just going to move my products in closer for my, sorry, can you still see? Okay. So our opening ritual, always begins with inhalations. You're using the emulsion on the hands, and you're going to have your guests take a nice deep breath in and out, and in and out, and in and out. You're going to introduce touch, and you're going to do a gentle shoulder stretch, not too hard. And then you're going to do it together. Then you're going to gently glide the hands so you can feel the skin. So this is your first touching of her skin. This is a good time to either agree with her diagnosis of the type of skin that she has. She doesn't feel dry, but I would imagine she's got more. And again, you can do this whatever way you like to do a facial wrap. You can do it that way. This is just the way Yon-KA likes to do it. And now we are done with the opening ritual. Okay? Now you would think we would do a skin analysis, but first we need to cleanse her skin. I like using the lait nettoyant for the combination skin. And we just do a little tapping. And then we're going to begin with our cleanse. Now in the book, it says to do a 2-minute cleanse. That's kind of a long cleanse. You'll notice that some of the times there are not real precise. So I'm going to let you know this cleanse, do a minute cleanse. Do a cleanse where you feel you've gotten all the makeup off, you've gotten the grime, whatever might have hit the skin for her during her travels in. You can add a little water, give it a little emulsification. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, absolutely.
If the customer will into the heavy makeup and removing to the makeup first.
Yes, sorry. If they have eye makeup on,
Yeah.
always remove their eye makeup first. And I do like to use the Milky Cleanser to remove the eye makeup. Are you all very good at removing eye makeup? I would imagine as estheticians, you don't need to see me do a removal of the eye makeup. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, so before you do a cleanse, you're gonna cleanse the eye, cleanse the lip, remove any of that, and then you're gonna go into your facial cleanse. So I'm glad you brought that up. It's been a little while since I've trained. So we have a good, now, if you feel that you didn't get all of her face makeup off, you can always do a second cleanse. You can always do a second cleanse, okay? So next is we're gonna take another warm towel and we're going to remove. Always check the temperature. Oh. If I wheel around, I sometimes get my headlight caught in the wheels. And we're going to remove the cleanser with the hot towel. The next step is going to be your skin analysis. Now that's not written down in the steps, so you want to make sure after you've cleansed the skin that you do the skin analysis. Any questions so far? Okay. So with YON-KA, our skin analysis is 4 parts. The first is going to be confirming her skin type. And she had said that she has combination skin. So the way I can confirm her skin type using just plain water, I'm going to make a little eye pad so that the light is not so aggressive. So I will be able to determine her skin type by looking at her pores. Her pores are going to tell me a story. Tell you a story? Tell me a story. Okay. So I'm specifically looking in areas of her T-zone where she said she's got some larger pores to confirm that, yeah, she might have some larger pores, some congestion. And yes, on the nose, she definitely has some impacted pores where maybe her exfoliation at home might not be enough. She definitely has, it looks like a history of larger pores on the chin, but it doesn't appear to be too congested at this time. Mainly right now, she has some mild congestion right here in the glabellar area, as well as the nose. So I would agree with her on that. Then taking a look at the rest of the skin, I don't see a lot of congested large pores. I don't see a lot of blackheads. Her skin does not, at this time, feel oil dry. Boy, this is a bright light. It doesn't come flopping on you, but again, it's hard to move around. Okay, so I would definitely agree that she has combination skin, okay? The second part is you're gonna identify skin conditions. So, does she have mild hyperpigmentation? Yes, she does. She has some mild scattered hyperpigmentation. We already discussed that she does have some congestion in the skin. Now I'm taking a look at the dehydration in the skin. And depending on their level of dehydration and their level of chronic dehydration, you may not even have to touch her skin to be able to see what the dehydration is. And there may be parts of the face that has more dehydration and other parts that are not as dehydrated, okay? So looking at the forehead region, she doesn't really have that much dehydration going on in the forehead, just very little bit right up through here. On her cheeks, however, right in through here, she does have pretty severe dehydration, and you can see that by the striations in the skin. Over on the outer cheeks, not too much, but yes, she definitely has some moderate dehydration all over the rest of the face. Chin-wise, just mild, not as much as the rest of the face. So she does have some dehydration concerns, so lacking of water in the skin. Typically, one of the first things that causes dehydration is the fact that she's not been exfoliating. There's a lot of dead skin up there. Dead skin can't hold on to water, can't hold on to hyaluronic acid. Exfoliation is a big part of working with chronic dehydration. The next is going to be her vascular health. Taking a look at her capillaries. Did I unplug it? Oh no, it's good. It's good. It's good. So taking a look, does she have broken capillaries? Does she have heat or coolness in the skin? Her skin is, I would say, mildly cool. It's not hot by any means. The redness, and typically anyone who has had a cold once or twice in their life, who's had to blow their nose, from allergies, whatever, you're going to have some broken capillaries in and around the nasal crease. It's just human nature because we have to blow our nose. Taking a look at those veins, they seem to be a little constricted. There's no heat in them. I'd like to take a quicker look over here. She's definitely got some deoxygenated veins. The veins are a little bit more purple and blue versus red. So for her Lucas, I want to induce some blood flow because she's kind of cool. I want to see some better flow of blood. So I'm going to bring the Lucas a little bit closer. You never want to come closer than 6 inches, but I don't want to be too far away from it, okay? And you always want to keep the eyes covered while using the Lucas. The way we use it is we like to work on one side of the face first. I need to give you instructions on how to clean this, so I'll email that to you. So I'm going to work up the face on one side. And I've done one pass, and I'm going to do a second pass up and down. Make sure she's not dripping too much. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to hold it on the bottom. However you guys can transfer your Lucas is completely fine with me. That's just the way I showed you the YON-KA way. Okay? And I don't need it to stay on because there's plenty of pressure in it. Now the key is when you're done, you got to pull it out. Because the pressure in here will continue to... Yeah, I gotta help you clean your Lucas. Hold on. Even though you use distilled water, there's still calcium buildup in there. It's not blowing as hard as it should. So now you're just gonna come back and we're gonna press in the emulsion into the skin so she gets all the benefits of the emulsion concentrate at her specific 6 volume. Now, what is my next step after the first Lucas? Gommage. Gommage 305 is the gommage that I'm going to use. We had a discussion earlier about the difficult use of the 303. Now that it's become so thin. Most all of my accounts in salon will only use 305, and that's absolutely appropriate for all and any skin types, okay? 305 just works a lot easier and it's not as laborious for the actual esthetician. I like to use about a nice nickel size. You'll find if you don't use enough, you're not going to get a good exfoliation. Most people who say to me, oh, I don't get any peels, I find out they're using about the size of a pea. They're not using enough. And because the skin is naturally going to be a little dehydrated, because our gommage also works on dehydration, if the skin is severely dehydrated, it's going to want to just suck up all the gommage and not let any come down and be exfoliated. So a nice nickel size, a dime to a nickel size is all you need. You're going to apply a nice even layer to make sure that she has a nice even amount. You're going to come in and around the eye area because this is a beautiful way to exfoliate the eyes. Now this is the way I was taught back in New Jersey. I was taught to dry off your hands, get all the gommage off of your hands. It's allowing it to set up and to get a little tacky and to dry. I'm going to put down a little tissue grabber for the peels. And then I'm just going to gently begin effleuraging it. Ever so gently. Working up. And you're gonna feel that it's still a little wet. That's fine. What we're doing now is aerating it or drying it. With the effleuraging movements, you're gonna feel some light air movement across the gel. And as the air movement comes across the face and dries the gel starts to roll, and that's when it picks up the dead skin. So for YON-KA, one pass is up and down. So I have completed one pass. I'm on my way up again, and I'm already getting some nice exfoliation on the neck area. Now I'm working on the jawline, and I can feel some really nice exfoliation coming.
If they don't have a dead skin and then you don't see any cuts or
Everybody has dead skin.
okay.
Everyone should be exfoliated because most people walk around with too much dead skin. And this is a very, very gentle way of assuring that all of the products that come next will have better penetration. Is that what you were going to ask? Could you skip this? I would never skip this step. This is for YON-KA. This is another signature step, is gommage.
So customer have the some peeling and we still can do gommage.
Absolutely.
How about eczema?
Say it again.
Eczema?
Eczema? Actually, gommage is excellent for eczema because the 305 has anti-inflammatories in it, and the eczema gets kind of angry and red and flaky. This is a very gentle way to exfoliate that area. That would be really the only exfoliation on eczema that you would ever want to do. You wouldn't want to do AHAs on eczema on the face. That's going to be a little bit too aggressive. Okay. The other thing about 305 is because it has anti-inflammatory benefits, it will also bring redness down and inflammation down. So people who have acne, you want to gommage it because it's going to help clear around the debris, get all the debris off around the face and around the lesions, and work on the anti-inflammation at the same time.
The acne, if they have a open
Pustule?
yeah.
You want to gently work around it. Okay? So she's done, and I'm just going to gently use a dry aesthetic wipe and remove some of these excessive peels. So the peels are not dead skin. It's inside the peels that the dead skin is inside. Okay, so everybody understands, right? Okay. So now that we've got the majority, and I like to use these little tissues because there's nothing worse than doing a massage and getting the peels on your hands. And then you're gonna come back. Take it, that's what these are for. And you can gently wipe the rest. So whatever is left on her skin, as far as gommage, it's now going to be affecting her dehydration. And you really want to make sure that you're getting as much of the peels off of the face, because there's nothing worse than doing your exfoliation step and having leftover peels on the skin. So making sure you're getting most of the peels up and off. And then the next step after this is what? A second Lucas spray. When you work the gommage around the eye area, make sure you hold the skin nice and taut. Okay?
What is the contraindication of gommage?
Contraindication of gommage. I don't know that there are any. I really don't know that there are any contraindications for gomage. So you're going to place your iPads back down. We're going to put our cylinder back in. And then we're going to do our second Lucas. I think you might be... Okay, so I'm going to do my second Lucas just like I did the first. I think they say to do Lucas for 2 minutes. If you did a Lucas for 2 minutes, they'd be sopping wet. And you don't want them to be sopping wet. So usually this step takes about, I would say, a minute at the very most. Make sure you're getting a nice, even spray all over the face. Take your tube out. You're going to use this. None of this will go to waste, ever, okay? And we're going to just gently press into the skin. Her skin is drinking this up. It's not even leaving any hardly on the skin. Just adjust your hair here. And our next step is the professional exfoliation. Yes? In the active micro, in the Le Grand Classique or the signature facial, we use the active micro peel. And the active micro peel comes now in this bigger bottle. Okay, but you may still have small bottles. Because it's an AHA, you want to make sure that there's no water left on the skin. Do you guys know why that is? Why you don't want to have water on the skin when you use an AHA? How do you neutralize AHAs? How do you neutralize alpha hydroxy acids?
Is
Water.
water.
Water. That's how you neutralize alpha hydroxy acids. So if you put an alpha hydroxy acid onto her skin that's wet, you've just neutralized your professional exfoliation. So blotting the skin and making sure it's not wet is going to give them a better exfoliation. Okay? So you can let your guests know. So the professional exfoliation is next. You may feel a little tingling.
No?
Okay. You may when I put this on.
Okay.
It won't be painful, but you'll feel a little sensation. Okay? So,
Sorry.
You got it up your nose? An inch. Okay. So it comes with a dropper, and typically what you need for someone's face is a full dropper and about a quarter. About 1 1/4 droppers. Okay? I like using it in a bowl with my fingers. If I apply it with the dropper, I typically will hit the skin with the dropper or drip it in her eye, whatever, because I don't have as much control. I prefer using my fingers so I have good control, okay? And you're gonna wanna leave this on anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. If she has extremely sensitive skin, you want to make sure you neutralize it at about 2 minutes. If she has very normal skin, no sensitivities, then neutralizing it at 3 minutes, okay? So we're gonna begin by applying it to the skin, coming just down to the neck. And you always wanna kind of check in with your client. How are you doing? You may feel a little tingling. Do you feel a little tingling? Okay, good.
チリチリします。
Good.
今のとこまだそんなに一部
It's itchy, and that is a normal thing to feel when you use an AHA. because the action that's causing the itching is the AHA breaking down the keratin bond that holds dead skin. It's so itchy. Yeah, it's itchy. And she's flaring up around the nasal area. I would ask you, do you have allergies?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't tell you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
People with allergies, it will be extremely itchy around their nose. So pay attention to
Not
that.
only for the nasal allergy, not only. For example, because she said the mango allergy, right? So
Mango and I have a nose allergy too. I'm sorry, I didn't.
I understand
A
that.
nose
but the
allergy. What's a nasal allergy?
No, sometimes they have
なんていうのアレルギー性鼻炎なんていうの英語で
allergy.
ダストアレルギーとか
Dust-
あれはねプラントか
From
な
to the plants or something sometimes.
An allergy to a
Yeah,
plant.
yeah.
Right.
Grass.
And she has what we call seasonal allergies. Something's
Sinus,
blooming.
yeah.
Okay, that's
Sinus.
normal.
No, I mean to that. I understand about the nasal allergy, and then she can feel itchy around the nose. I understand, but if someone has a different type of the allergy, still they feeling like
It may feel a little bit more intense, but it depends on the allergy.
Oh.
So, what happens when you eat mango?
Blush red and itchy.
All over?
No, I'm
In your mouth?
only neck and face.
Okay, that's considered an allergy from eating something. So yeah, you wouldn't want to obviously put anything with mango on her face,
So
right?
scared.
So, well, yeah. But when she says, oh, I sneeze a lot, I have seasonal allergies, because the antigens around the nose, this is your mucous membrane, and because they blow their nose a lot more and it's inflamed from the allergies, you can avoid the nose area.
If
For
they
their
have
own comfort.
someone have an action about the
Yeah, you can. You can. Well, she didn't tell me about her allergies. However, this is a very good example to show you, even though she has allergies, she's not going crazy, right? It's itchy.
Literally, but it comes down.
If you noticed, when I first put it on around her nose got pretty red, and that's when I asked her, do you have allergies? Because her skin was telling me something. And she said, oh yes, I forgot to tell you. I don't have to panic and take it off of her because active micropeel is so gentle as it was. So if they fail to tell you about the seasonal allergy, don't panic. If they're saying, oh, please, can you take it off? Just take your wet aesthetic wipe and remove it, being very gentle because this skin around the nose is already raw from seasonal allergies. And you just want to be very gentle and dilute it down and remove it, okay? Because sometimes people forget when they are talking to you, and that's okay. But they won't forget things like when I eat mango, my throat closes up. They won't forget that. They may forget seasonal allergies. Does that feel a little bit better? Sometimes when you add water, it kind of kicks it up at first. So just gently patting it, making sure we've got it all nice and neutralized. And now the full 2 minutes has been on, so we're going to now come back and start to remove. You want to use a wet. You can use your sponges if you enjoy the sponge. I'm just not used to using the sponge, so I'll use my wipes. And you'll see some of the exfoliation on the pad. You'll also see some dead skin sometimes. Let's say they wear a lot of makeup and the dead skin is starting to come off, and they actually have some dead skin that has makeup clumped to it. I've actually seen makeup on these. Okay. The active micro peel is the safest, most gentle peel that you'll ever use. But the results are phenomenal. Phenomenal. This active micro peel is good for any and all skin types and any and all skin conditions. So it's your go-to professional exfoliator. You're not going to hurt anybody with it. and you have the ability to stop it with just water at any time during the facial. How are you feeling? Feeling good?
You know, the last time we took a class and when you do the micropeel, you're gonna use with a steamer.
No, not anymore.
ね、言ってたよね。
So, what you're talking about, are you sure it wasn't the alpha exfoliature? Okay. We no longer use steam with any of our professional exfoliations. And I will show you and I will tell you why. What did I just tell you? What neutralizes AHAs? How do we neutralize an AHA, an acid? Water. What's coming out of that steamer?
Water. No, but
Do I need to say any more? No. Now, in the older YON-KA days, they would say, use the steam, but keep it far enough away where it just kind of tricks the mind to not thinking about the itching. Well, we've evolved, okay? Now, I'll show you when we're done, I can actually do it on one of you, how to use the alpha exfoliator properly now. And you're gonna be amazed at how amazing the exfoliation is, okay? Now, how do you feel? Itching, prickling anywhere?
no.
No bright redness around the nose. She's nice and calmed down, right? What's my next step? Extractions. Oops, I should turn this on. So I would say when you're neutralizing, turn your steamer on.
So this is first time time.
Yes, right. Okay. YON-KA typically only uses steam when we do extractions. Okay. Now, most people think that every facial should have steam. Would you agree? Yes? Do you all use steam with every facial?
Mostly.
Okay. How do you use it? Do you use it during the cleanse?
Cleanse and we stop before March.
Okay, and that's fine. You can do that. But you're gonna want to, when you're preparing the skin for extractions, the steam is gonna help open up the pore, and you're gonna use hydralia. And you're gonna put hydralia in those pores that we want to extract. This is gonna get inside the pore because it's a liquid, okay? And it's gonna soften the debris so that when you're done steaming and it comes time to extract, extractions are so much easier. If you use hydralia with about 5 to 10 minutes of steam, your extractions will be like butter. Like they are just gonna come out, butter. That's a New Orleans term, it'll come out like butter, okay? They're gonna come out nice and smooth, your guest isn't gonna feel like they got pain up, right? Not a lot of pain, you know, depending on how impacted they are, right? So I recommend that you turn your steamer on when you're starting to neutralize your active micropeel. So once you're done neutralizing, you can bring the steam back down. And once the steamer starts up, I want to position it. Now, keep in mind, you need to remember where your extractions are going to be. On Masami, her extractions are pretty much going to be in the nose area and maybe a few up here. So you really want to make sure you're putting the hydralia in those specific areas. You want to make sure that the steam is hitting those good areas. Let's say she's got some, you know, deep congested pores over on this side. You got to turn the face so that the steam can hit it and you can get the hydralia on it. So what I'm saying is position your steamer or position their face so that the steam and the hydralia get to where you want to extract. Because if it's just hydralia in those areas, you're going to notice a big difference on how much more difficult it is to get these out. Okay? So my bad, I should have started the steamer sooner. I'm going to kind of position this. You're not claustrophobic, are you? Or are you? A little? Do you mind steam? You don't mind steam. Okay. All right, healthy here, people. Okay. So I'm going to turn it away, make sure it doesn't sputter. I'll put an eye pads over you so you don't want to steam your eyeballs. And so the other question people ask is, how much Hydralia do I use? Well, it again is going to depend on how much area needs to be extracted, how impacted they are. I like to use a generous amount because the more you can get the debris softened, the better result you're going to get. Okay? So sorry about that. You can also take this opportunity to put your clay mask in the hot cabbie. It's nice to have the put the clay warmed in the hot cabbie for when we apply her mask.
Like a fungal therapy.
Like what?
Fungal therapy, like a clay.
A fungal therapy?
Yeah.
What's fungal therapy?
Fungal therapy is like using to the marine extract.
Okay.
Mostly like a thalassotherapy.
The lasso therapy.
Yeah, similar
Okay.
to the thalasso.
Okay. Absolutely. So we're going to put the clay mask that we're going to put on her after the massage, and I'm going to put it in my hot cabbie and let it warm up while I'm waiting for the steam. Just trying to be productive right about now. Sorry about that, guys. Bear with me. Timed that very well. So are there any questions so far? One of the things that I would recommend for Masami is using and selling to her the gommage as well as the clay mask. And the reason I would have her use the clay mask is you can use this as a deep pore cleanser. With a soft brush or your Clairsonic, once or twice a week, put the clay mask on, you get your brush head wet, and you just let it do deep pore cleansing. Remove the mask. You'd be amazed how much of the debris is popping out. So you can also recommend, because she did say she doesn't like her deep, big pores and they get congested. This is a great deep pore cleansing for home care with a soft brush. Okay, we got some good steam, so you're gonna feel some steam. How does that feel? Is it too much? Does it feel good? Okay. So while she's steaming, does that happen with in here? The steam goes flowing in. How's that better? Okay. So I'm going to begin applying the Hydralia. Definitely on the nose area. You want to make sure it doesn't drip into the eye, so really hold that eye compress down. If any YON-KA product gets into the eye, don't panic. Tell your client just to keep their eye closed. Don't let them flutter. Just tell them, just keep your eye closed. At the end of the facial, they'll open their eyes and it's all gone. If for any reason you were to get it in the eye. And that does happen every once in a while. So I'm placing the Hydralia. I'm going to watch my timer on how long I'm steaming her. I'm going to hit the chin a little bit, although she doesn't have too much to extract in that area. I'm going to saturate the Hydralia with the steam.
Is it same as the product of the Hydralia?
The Hydralia for retail?
Yeah.
It's the exact same product.
So I can do that at home?
Exactly.
Really?
Another great take-home product for her, because her main concern were her pores and the impacted pores, is to make sure she goes home with Hydralia. And she can apply the Hydralia to her concerned congested pore area and then put her moisturizer on, or she can mix a few drops into her moisturizer. But this will get in, if she uses it daily, it will help keep the debris softened so that when she comes back for her second Le Grand Classique, extractions are going to be that much easier. So far, 2 good recommendations, or 3, gommage, but I actually have a better at-home exfoliation product that I'd like her to have, which we'll get to. I would recommend her definitely right now take home the clay mask for 103 for normal to oily skin and hydralia. And that's going to target her main concern, which were large congested pores. Okay. So when you open an ampule, do you guys know how long they're good for? 12 days.
ひどい私たち。12 days.
12 days.
Wow.
Okay.
Mistake.
That's okay. Because they're all encapsulated in a nice glass container, and the brown container keeps the UV light from breaking it down. There's no preservatives in here. Once you break the seal, okay, and you put the rubber tip on, you're now exposing it to oxygen. And after about 12 days, the oxygen will break it down to make it inactive. So if it's a 30-day ampule and you're using it, you're probably not going to get good performance out of the product. Okay? So try to be mindful of your ampules and how long it was that you broke it open. I've seen people say, oh, that's a good year. I'm like, oh, it's water. I mean, I don't even know what you're putting on their face at this point, you know. So she's been steaming for about 4 to 5 minutes. I'm going to let her go a little bit longer. The other thing, the little cap, it's not airtight, but it's definitely going to inhibit a lot of air from getting in. You guys are good. I've been places where all of these have no caps on them. Horrible. Yeah, so you guys are good. I like that. That's excellent. I want to have all the stuff you need. There's cream 11. You guys have cream 11. There it is. Okay, so for post-extraction care, you still doing okay?
I'm still okay.
You still okay?
I like.
Yeah, you like it? Okay. Why do we not steam over 10 minutes? Does anybody know? You never want to steam anyone.
Go get dry. Go back.
They're going to dehydrate. Look at how her skin is starting to perspire. I'm coming close to 8 to 9 minutes. Her skin now is starting to get hot. And once it gets hot, it sends a message. How do I turn this off? There we go. It sends a message to the brain, you need to cool me off. Your body's way of cooling you off is to perspire. So all that good moisture we just put in, now she's starting to sweat it out. If you steam anyone more than 10 minutes, you run the risk of dehydrating their skin. Okay? So you don't want to do that. So while she's cooling off, I'm going to make some compresses. This is the key to allowing you yourself to extract and then walk out and no one knew that they ever got extracted. This is one of the most important parts of the facial. I like to use the eye rounds because I can make many compresses by pulling the layers off. Okay? And you don't dilute it. You don't use your Lucas diluted. We have a plan for this. You want to use it pure. Okay? I'm going to use a little bit of, make a little, I like to use Creme 11 because of the redness that can occur after extracting. And you're also going to use some Creme 15. When you extract, you want to extract in zones. And I always recommend that you start on the nose first because that's usually the most difficult. Now, when I extract, the eye pads fall off. Okay? So, Masami, I'm going to take your eye pads off, but I want you to keep your eyes closed, okay? Because there's a very bright light over your eyes. And I'm going to begin extracting on the nose section. That's my first zone. Oh, did I turn it on? Oh, did I mess it up? Thank you. I'm not going to use my extractor yet because I want to test out just how compacted and impacted her pores are. I like to use my aesthetic wipes and my fingers just to kind of test out. You guys can come close. The way I was taught in school, or actually I taught this in school, my instructor wasn't very good at extractions, is to help have your skin help extract for you. So, can you guys see what just came out of me just massaging using just my fingers? Do you see the debris?
Badak.
Butter. It's like butter. And it came out with me. Did I press very hard on you when I did that?
So far it's okay.
You're still okay. All right. So this side of her nose really doesn't have too much going on. She's got a nice big one right here, and it just came out beautifully for me. Did I hurt you on that one?
I'm okay.
Have you ever had someone extract you where they really, really hurt you? Okay. Would you compare what I'm doing to you right now to being like that? I'm nice. Okay, so there's a couple of big ones that just came out. Now, if you notice, I get 3 or 4 out with each extraction because I take big parts of skin and push up. So that's called using the skin to extract. So I just got out 4 impacted pores out of that one pressure. So I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna come on over here, moving around the nose. She's got one that's halfway out right here. Sometimes what I've even noticed, so hang tight with me there, Masami, you've got one that's being stubborn. I have actually seen, after hydralia and steam, they're sticking out of the skin where you can just take tweezers and pull them out. Have you seen that?
I do.
Exactly. That's awesome if you could just get that to happen. Okay. So I'm going to use my extractor because this one needs a little bit more leverage on it. She has one pore that's angry at me. And I'm going to have you turn your head and I'm going to show you the way I use an extractor. So if you noticed, I wrapped it. And if you notice, well, in the medical field, we call it the bevel up. So it swoops up, okay? As you guys know, I was a medical assistant for 12 years. So I did surgery, used a lot of different instruments. I wrap it so the metal doesn't touch the skin. And I use it for leverage. So I can now, because of the bevel, use it to push the skin so that the skin pushes the debris up. And then you just scoop it out.
巻いてんの？
巻いてます。痛いですか？指と一緒ぐらい。
でもまあ、はい。
Now she has 3 big ones in a row. 2 have come out, and there goes the 3rd. And it's right there on the tip. Was that too painful?
上への問い合わせ。ショップに問い合わせが来てて、なんか取り置きの商品のことで、ミサイちゃんからなんですけど。
じゃあちょっと変わります。
まだ電話1回切ったんですけど、まだ変わりますか？
はい。
そこの電話取ってるの。
Do they need you?
Yeah, really, just a second. 何の商品？
取り寄せって言ってましたね。取り寄せって。
Stacy, you know, the corporate educator, she loves this technique, and I've tried to show it to her a couple of times. And if I'm there with her, she'll have me show how to do this technique. Now, I have a question for you. You have a little dark spot right here on your nose. Is that a pore? Do you extract this, or is it a mole? Do you know, Masami?
なんかそこにちっちゃい
ちっちゃな袋みたいだけど、maybe more.
Maybe a mole?
Do you think?
I actually think it's a mole. Actually, yeah, it's a mole. It's a mole. So we're going to leave that alone, okay? So her pores are nice and clear, okay? So I'm going to do my post-extraction care. She's definitely red, right? So I'm going to take some Creme 11. Oh, that burst out too much. I use Creme 11 in every single facial I do. It is that amazing of a product. So I'm going to take the 11 and I'm gonna put it on the skin because I don't want her to walk out with a big red nose. That's not nice. I want people to be like, oh my gosh, what did you just do to your skin? I actually will use Creme 11 in my massage if they still have redness when it comes time to do massage. I'm going to take some Cream 15, your antibacterial. Does anybody need some Creme 11? Your guys has exploded on my hand. And I'm going to move a little 15 to make sure we clear out the bacteria.
There is a meaning of the 11 first.
Oh yes. Creme 11 we call 911 cream.
911 cream.
Right.
So
Because it affects, yeah, because it will affect rapid redness. So I just was pressing on her face, press. I made it really red, and I want to bring the redness down like that. 911 cream.
So for example, if someone has acne so much and then still can use into the number 11 first.
Absolutely. Because acne that's inflamed.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm thinking to the antibacterial first and then
Either way, I've seen people mix the 11 and the 15
mix
together.
in one time.
So if they have more bacteria than redness, I would put down the 15 first and then put a little 11 on top. Both of them have big anti-inflammatories in it. 11 has arnica, which really brings blood flow down. So if they've got more bacteria issues, go with the 15 first. Okay? I've peeled off a little layer of my emulsion and I'm gonna place it on the nose. So this is gonna help bring redness down, it's gonna kill bacteria, it's gonna soothe the skin, okay? And now I'm just gonna take a peek and see if there's anything on this forehead that wants to extract.
ピリピリかゆみもなんもないですか？
気持ちいい。
原液みたいな感じですか？
現役でしたよ。
なんもなアクションないですか？
私大丈夫よね。気持ちいいっていうか、その前にクリーム貼ってるからじゃない。
ああ、そっか。
冷たくて気持ちいい。
She has have some little bumps that I think are it's just overgrowth of skin. Like as you age, you make little skin tags, and I think you've got some really flattened what we call white moles up here on the top, because I'm looking at it and I'm manipulating it and I'm not seeing any debris in them. Do you ever get anything out of those on the forehead there when you extract?
ちょっとか出てきたことあります。
Not really? No, I wouldn't think you would.
なんかでもここ
がなってる。
脂肪っぽい感じ。
Yeah, she just has some congestion that it just needs to have some work. It needs some attention with some home care so that when she comes in the next time, her extractions will be easier. And a lot of these little, this is making me dizzy. A lot of these just congested little pores will go away with some better at-home exfoliation, okay? She's just got some dead skin overgrowth, and that can cause some congestion. What do you use at home to exfoliate, Mathani? And it's okay if you don't. You can just say I don't exfoliate. That's okay.
3 days.
You do 30 days?
I do.
And then what, did you stop? Or did you use it a couple of times a week? You didn't do anything? What did you use after the 30 days of Alpha Complex? Did you just stop? Okay, and that's okay, because you guys had misunderstood what I had said. So now what you're gonna wanna do, drinks this up. But typically, that should be all she needs. Now, one of the things I noticed when I first touched Masami's skin was right in here, it was real rough. And it's gone now. And that's because she had a lot of dead skin buildup. And that now it's soft, it's smooth, all that dead skin is gone. And now her skin, and that's where her dehydration was the most prevalent. So at the end, we'll see how her dehydration looks now that we've gotten it off the skin, gotten all that dead skin away from that area, okay?
恥ずかしいな、人に言うといて自分が隠し姿
What'd she say? So this is the hardest part, is watching me massage her. So has anyone done pretty much the steps that I've been doing so far? Have you been kind of doing these steps from your books? Okay, good. YON-KA does have a massage. It's called the Aroma Luxe facial massage. It's a 43-step massage. Usually takes about 2 days to learn. We don't enforce that as a YON-KA partner that you have to do the YON-KA facial. This is where we think as a clinician, you should be able to do your own massage that you feel good with. Because sometimes when you do someone else's massage, it doesn't feel as normal or natural, so it doesn't come across as too organic. And so we want all of your massages to be, you know, very specific for your guest, and so that they enjoy and you enjoy doing it as well. But we do offer it as a class in LA. Being that I would be bringing an educator out here if you wanted to learn it. As a spa, we could take a day and probably get you guys learning it, because you're not new estheticians. So. Do you ever have where you're both doing two different, like in the same room, and you're doing a different facial on one person versus the other person, like a husband and wife? Or do you do the same facial on both people when you're doing a double?
You mean to the...
When you have a gentleman and their wife here?
Oh, yeah.
Different?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Alright, so I'm going to complete my massage. And the step drinks this up. But typically, that should be all she needs. Now, one of the things I noticed when I first touched Masami's skin was right in here, it was real rough. And it's gone now. And that's because she had a lot of dead skin buildup. And that now it's soft, it's smooth, all that dead skin is gone. And now her skin, and that's where her dehydration was the most prevalent. So at the end, we'll see how her dehydration looks now that we've gotten it off of the skin, gotten all that dead skin away from that area, okay? What'd she say? And once a day, that's okay. Just let me know. Because then I can do a better recommendation for you as far as what you should be doing at home. But if they say, oh no, I do twice a day and lie, then you're not really able to give them the best recommendation. So you can enjoy some time with your family. You can fall asleep on the sofa, and guess what? You've already done your skin. So that's, you know, why I like to tell people, just, you know, be honest. There's no judging, no judgment, right? 'So this is the hardest part, is watching me massage her. So has anyone done pretty much the steps that I've been doing so far? Have you been kind of doing these steps from your books? Okay, good. YON-KA does have a massage. It's called the Aroma Luxe facial massage. It's a 43-step massage. Usually takes about 2 days to learn. We don't enforce that as a YON-KA partner that you have to do the YON-KA facial. This is where we think as a clinician, you should be able to do your own massage that you feel good with, because sometimes when you do someone else's massage, it doesn't feel as normal or natural, so it doesn't come across as too organic. And so we want all of your massages to be, you know, very specific for your guest, and so that they enjoy and you enjoy doing it as well. But we do offer it as a class in LA. Being that I would be bringing an educator out here if she wanted to learn it. As a spa, we could take a day and probably get you guys learning it, because you're not new estheticians. So. Do you ever have where you're both doing two different, like in the same room, and you're doing a different facial on one person versus the other person, like a husband and wife? Or do you do the same facial on both people when you're doing a double?
You mean to the...
When you have a gentleman and their wife here? Different. Sometimes. All right, so I'm going to complete my massage. And the step, so it's all good, because we're now the clay mask is going to come down, and I need a bowl. I usually use that one, but it's holding all my...
A bowl?
A bowl. Oh, hold on. I'll just pour that in there. I'm good. We're good. So remember when I said that we had a plan for this leftover emulsion? This is the plan. This is what goes over the clay mask to keep it wet. Okay? So you want it to be wet. I also like to add a little to my clay. Now, if she still had bright red all over her face, could I add a little creme 11 to her, to the clay mask? Can I? Can I add anything I want to that clay mask? Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's say, you know, she's still a little rosy. She still has a little rosiness on her nose. I'm going to put just a very small amount of creme 11 in my clay mask, so that it's going to help keep pushing down and pulling down on the redness, okay? And I think before I do this, aren't I supposed to do an eye mask?
クリーム11混ぜる。
What's the next step?
赤いから。
アイマスク。
アイマスク。
Eye mask. Right.
プレイに何入れた最初。
I'm gonna use, because I did not have the Nutri Contour or the Alpha Contour, I have the men's under eye gel, which is a combination of Phyto Contour and Alpha Complex. I sell a lot of this to women. And it's a nice gel. And it's gonna be, they want it to be a nice thick layer, an eye mask is what it calls for. So I'm gonna take it and I'm going to put a nice layer.
これ何なんですか。メンズのやつ。メンズのアイマスク。
The men's eye gel will reduce puffiness as well as hydrate and reduce fine lines. I love the men's under eye gel. And when they say you're going to make it a mask, you want to put down a thick layer.
目のやつ続き。Can I apply on the eyelid?
You don't want to put any of our eye products down on the eyelid. You want to keep it at the bone and then keep it at the bone. We don't recommend using it on the eyelids at all. It's too active for such a small, thin skin. So there's a nice thick layer, which is considered a mask, okay? And now we're going to begin to apply the clay mask. Hopefully I didn't make it too thin. You want to make sure it's not too hot when it first comes out, and the emulsion will definitely help bring that down. And you're going to begin coming up the neck. Oops, I didn't think you were gonna-
Nice.
It feels nice,
It
right?
feels nice. It is a YON-KA brush.
This is actually a paintbrush.
Paintbrush?
I buy my
Really?
I buy my
My
facial
God.
brushes
Really?
from Michaels. Do you guys have Michaels here? It's you can go. It's like a craft store. This is an actual paintbrush, and it's the nylon fibers, and it's a beveled edge. Again, it's kind of just like your foundation brush how it has a bevel. That's what this is. I don't like natural bristle brushes for the sheer fact that they feel prickly on the skin, and they don't feel good. They don't feel nice.
Sometimes pokey.
It's very scratchy.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel nice. I've had this brush for 10 years.
Wow. That's really?
That's why you spend a little bit more on the nylon bristles and get a nicer brush, but it lasts you forever. And I use this brush in very, very powerful glycolic solutions that could have broken it down, and this brush is still going strong. People, whenever I use this, they're like, oh my god, that brush was so amazing. And I got it at a paint store. It was like $22, but I've had it for 10 years. I've had it for 10 years. I've gone through so many natural bristle brushes. Finally, I was just like, this is ridiculous. So we've got a nice, even mask on the skin. And now I'm going to put her iPads back on. It's a nice, cool iPad. And we're going to place the compress, which isn't too soggy, okay? I always like to put the one down on the mouth. Made a little opening for the mouth area. That was wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. That should be. Hold on. This is the part that Stacy does the best. I don't do this very good. We're all good at some things. She's better at that. Okay. So a little opening for the mouth. I usually have these pre-cut, so I apologize. She will compress for a good 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. And I'm gonna come and do, what do you all normally do during this time that your guest has a mask on? Do you do hands, feet? What do you typically do? Hand, that's typically what I do. So I'm just making sure she's all nice and cleaned up. Moisturizers, right? And again, if they're normal to oily but they have sensitivities, by all means go with the Cream 83 because you don't want them to have a flare-up of any sensitivities by using a pamplemousse, normal to oily. And you know, pamplemousse has a lot of citrus in it, so that might be irritating to someone who might have some sensitivities in their skin, right? So the moisturizer Cream PS. Who do you recommend Cream PS to? Dry. So dry skin for YON-KA means that they're oil dry. They don't have any oil on their face, right? So anytime you see PS is for dry, oil, dry skin, okay? What if they are oily but dehydrated? What's the difference? What does dehydrated skin mean? What are they lacking in their skin? Water. Creme 28 would be good. That's our dehydration cream. Do you have the Hydra N1 cream in your back bar? No. Because the new moisturizers, the Hydra N1 Fluid and Hydra N1 Cream, the Hydra N1 Cream is for people who are oil dry, and the Hydra N1 Fluid are for people who have T-zone oil, okay? And the fluid comes professional. However, when you use it in a massage, because it has mattifying silica in it, it will roll. So for dehydrated skin, we recommend the Creme 28 for the massage, but we would recommend the Hydra N1 for the take-home moisturizer if they have chronic dehydration. Yeah. How many of you are familiar with the moisturizer Vital Defense? No? Never heard of it? Okay. Vital Defense was released about 4 years ago. And it's one of our best-selling age defense moisturizers. And Vital Defense has moringa peptides in it. The moringa plant happens to be one of a few plants in the world that is disease-free, meaning it never gets sick. It never dies. So what we did is we took the moringa peptides and put them in our moisturizer. And the moringa peptides help to preserve your cells from cellular death, from early cellular death from the pollutants in the air. So Vital Defense is one of our top moisturizers in the age defense category. It's an anti-pollutant, a antioxidant moisturizer. It has a beautiful fragrance to it, and it's extremely popular.
But what's different yesterday's serum?
Serum Vital. Oh, what's the difference?
Yeah, that's just moisturizing and serum.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
The inside ingredients is
Like vitamin C. You have to have vitamin C in your skin tissue in order for your fibroblast cell to make collagen, right? But that's just one thing that has to be there. What cellular code does is it goes inside your cell. And it does things like keeps your cell alive longer and allows it to reproduce longer. So in a 90-day period of time, we saw cells not die and do 5 more additional cellular reproductions. That's pretty amazing. And that's when your cells become sluggish and fatigued. So in the cellular code, we have added D-ribose, which goes inside the cell into your mitochondria. Your mitochondria is the engine of your cell. The D-ribose is then converted into gasoline, which then powers your cell to go make collagen. Okay. The other ingredient is garden nasturtium. Garden nasturtium is an extremely oxygenating plant, and your cell is just like a living being. It breathes. It has to have oxygen in order to survive. Garden nasturtium increases the amount of oxygen inside your cell. It breathes life into the cell. So now we've given it fuel, now we've given it oxygen, we've had it where we can make it live longer. So everything that you put on behind cellular code is only going to work better now because the cell is healthy again. Does that make sense? Is that kind of what you took away from yesterday?
Yeah, because you said using to the something like that.
Have you had trouble with hard and callous skin on your feet? Ever been embarrassed with how your feet look when you're not wearing covered shoes? As a woman, wearing high heels can cause rough skin to form around the heels and toes. Maybe you get regular pedicures, but want to find a cheaper and more sanitary solution. And for men, everyday activities can cause dry and cracked heels, but most don't have the time or patience to remedy this problem. Introducing Beautyfoot, a simple but revolutionary skin peeling solution to remove hard skin from your feet in 1 to 2 weeks and make your feet soft and beautiful again. It's easy to apply. Just put on a pair of specially formulated socks with our natural ingredients and seal them. Make sure the liquid within the socks is evenly spread around the sole of your feet and allow your feet to soak for about 90 minutes. Wash your feet thoroughly after soaking. That's all you have to do. Within 5 to 7 days, your feet will start to naturally peel, removing unwanted dead skin cells. Beautyfoot is cost-effective and more sanitary than a pedicure, so you can easily care and maintain your feet at home. Beautyfoot is made in Japan, so you can trust in a high-quality product. Beautyfoot is effective, effortless, and simple to use. It typically takes between 1 to 2 weeks to see results. Beautyfoot uses natural ingredients that moisturizes and exfoliates your feet in a gentle process. You may be wondering, does this actually work? We offer a money-back guarantee and stand behind the results our customers get from our product. This product has sold over 150,000 units a month in Japan. We've been in business over 18 years and have a brick-and-mortar retail shop as well as a day spa located in Honolulu, Hawaii. So if you're ready for beautiful and soft feet, order Beautyfoot today.
ーブコスメティクスはきめ細やかで経験豊かな日本人スタッフによるサービスが人気のトータルビューティーサロンです。当サロン専属ドライバーがキューブ送迎車にてお客様の宿泊ホテルまで時間通りにお迎えに上がります。お客様はサロンまでの移動の心配もなく、ホテルのお部屋にてゆっくり待機していただけます。ワイキキ中心から送迎車にて5分ほどで当サロンが位置するセンチュリーセンターに到着です。スタッフがお迎えに上がり、37階の絶景サロンまでお客様をご案内いたします。当サロンではハワイ伝統のロミロミをはじめ、エステ、マッサージなどのバラエティ豊かなメニューで体の芯から疲れを癒し、至福のひとときをお楽しみいただけます。地上37階のサロンの窓の外にはタンタラスの丘やダイヤモンドヘッド、またワイキキの街並みといった壮大な景色が広がります。美しいハワイの景色を見下ろすように眺めることができる抜群のロケーションをお楽しみいただけます。また爽快な景色を堪能していただきながら施術を受けていただけます。最高の癒しの空間の中で贅沢な時間をお過ごしくださいませ。キューブのエステサロンでは新しくカッサを取り入れた施術を始めました。カッサとは約2000年以上前から中国で行われてきた民間療法でございます。専用の板を使ってリンパを刺激することで毛細血管に圧を加え、血液の毒を肌表面に押し出し、お肌を引き締めデトックスする効果がございます。ハワイにお越しの際にはぜひキューブで最高の施術をお楽しみください。ご予約はキューブ .com からお申し込みが可能です。
キューブ .com